Mayor might remind what the latest, was it the latest update that they go by, right? The latest ordinance update in the county is the one we're supposed to, is that what we're supposed to go by?
Yeah, this one was from, I think usually, make sure, one we've been, I think it's the one you've been discussing, one applies. From
Usually-
1975.
75 is the one that,
I think they originally passed something in 55, they updated them again, I think in the 60s, and then did it again in 75.
18 and 4, I think this is
I'll make some coffee. I do coffee instead of sipping it. My coffee get on.
so much spreading your drums.
I'm sorry for it. I don't know what it is, but it's maybe I'm allergic to my beard.
We've got an ordinance somewhere too that says that all customers that have, in essence this, all customers that have a residential tap in the city shall pay a 2 times the rate for sewer. I don't know where, that's not in what she.
That's not in there.
No, but
no,
we,
it was an older
that's,
document.
that's part of our policy.
It was an old town document that stated that. Hartsville.
This is in chapter 18, section 202.
That's
Correct.
what he's got there.
That's what I've got.
Yeah, okay. Well, it says owner of houses, buildings, or properties used for human occupancy, employment, recreation, or other purposes. It is not talking about agricultural land when it's talking about houses, buildings, and property.
But when we set up rates for taps and water usage, we did not create a category for agricultural usage. All you've got out there is residential or commercial.
Just curious, how much money we talking here?
I don't know what his bill, cattle's different, it may be more or less.
He's probably just paying a minimum of $20-something a month.
Yeah.
Unless
He's
he's got,
Well, he,
unless he's got a lot of cattle.
for the pay one, it's $273 from May, so it'd be May 2. For 5 months, he's paid $273.
Is it with the sewer?
That's just the sewer.
$55.
That's what he used in water though too.
So then
it's
his
twice.
water bill's running about $110 a month.
Mr. Chairman, have we already begun the meeting? I'm
No,
sorry.
we haven't. You've got the camera on and
Yes,
everything.
sir.
It's time, so let's call the meeting to order. let the minutes reflect that we do have a full quorum of our members. The minutes of your August meeting were a part of your packet, was distributed. Are there any changes or corrections that need to be made to that set of minutes?
Motion approved.
Have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Todd makes a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Your financials were also in your packet. There's several pages of them. These reflect your accounting through the end of August on the top cover page. And you're running ahead of your income revenue is running ahead of your budgeted revenue. So you're in a positive position, about almost 9.5%. It's still very early into the budget year, but your other reports show details of other activity for the various accounts. Any questions? If there are no questions, is there a motion to approve and accept the financials?
Motion to approve the financials.
Todd makes a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Not quite. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Next is your water loss report, and that should be the next thing in your packet. Again, we're early in the budget year, but you're looking at unaccounted for loss in the month of August at 26.5%. Looks like same month previous year we were at 35.6%.
We found and fixed 2.
Big leaks.
Sulphur College had 2 leaks that may have been running for quite a while. And another one might have been running for way longer than that, so it looked like we recovered almost 500,000 gallons a day.
Wow.
A day. We had one running underground that been there probably for a while. And hopefully this trend will stay down like it is. That helped. In the days we look back from when we fixed them, it looked about a recovery, about 500,000 a day.
Where was it at?
Sulphur, you know where Johnny Hawkins lives?
Yeah.
One right in front of him and one way back behind him, a few hundred feet back. And it's right in that creek.
Running off into the creek, I bet.
We found what we thought, and it still runs, so there is a pretty good spring right there in front of Johnny Hawkins, but we were helping it, so. It caught my eye in the hot time of the year. And he said there was a spring, and we've been watching it, and finally we had one come out and blow out, and then that one blew out a couple weeks, or several, maybe a few weeks later. And then we found one over here on Burnley Road, running underground to a creek. And when we got all these fixed, we about 500,000 a day.
That'll take some pressure off the treatment plant.
Yes, it will.
A lot of pressure.
Questions about the water loss report?
And I'll say these 2 months may show those leaks being fixed. July and
Both of the
August.
months?
Both reductions in these months may show that going down. So it's 2 months period. Looks like hopefully that'll remain a headway there.
Next is our engineering report with mid-10, and under that we've got the pipe gallery painting, and I think you all did bids maybe yesterday, today, yesterday, I believe.
Yesterday,
Kevin,
we did out the water treatment plant, the pipe gallery and pump room, if y'all been there downstairs. We had one bid submit on that, one qualified bid as far as, we done a pre-bid where people could come actually look at it, only one showed, so they're the only one that could technically bid, and they did bid. They come in at $89,900, was their bid. So they were all overpaid. It's hard for me to explain if you hadn't been there, but it's every pipe in those two rooms.
what is their time frame for completing the project?
75 days.
Is this the walls and floors and everything?
The
or
walls,
just
we,
the pipe?
the walls we was leaving alone unless they hit it when they do the sandblasting, and then we're going to put that back. In other words, if they knock the paint off the walls, because
What's the overall scope of work, I guess, that would be starting?
they'll be sandblasting it.
Sandblast all the pipes?
Sandblast everything and paint it back. 2 coats.
Are they capable of starting to work as soon as we give them notice?
That's the way the man talked at the pre-bid, because we told him it was dependent upon the water temperature.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to keep the dew point down in there so that they won't have no trouble with paint. It's in the spec, they can use accelerators if they opt to, and doing that they can put it on, and they have like 6 hours, I think. You can speed it up to have a set time of 6 hours if they opt to do that. That's their choice. I mean, it's totally within spec to do that, but it costs them more money.
Will you be overseeing their
Yes.
progress?
Yes.
He'll be doing the milling to check their work.
How is the payments to be dispersed?
It's lump sum, so
At the end?
we always do a draw usually once a month is our minimum. So
Okay.
they can't make no more draws than once a month unless y'all want to leave it that way. So the way we done it was 5% retainage and a monthly draw is how it's real good. So.
Questions?
This was one of the things that we got cited on, right?
TDAC
This painting
one.
thing.
Yes.
TDAC is one
It
of
was,
the
Was
TDAC.
one
that
of
that
those-
sanitary survey?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, one of those sanitary surveys, maintenance issues that went gone for way too long.
And I do feel like this is a good bid. I told him afterwards I was expecting 100,000.
Well, we both was in here, and both of us said it about the same time. I figured it'd be higher, because they're hard to bid, those jobs. It's in a real bad, it's a rough spot to get into. It's real tight, real aggravating. It's gonna be aggravating to do.
No language that would allow cost overruns? Is the bid pretty tight and locked in?
Yeah, it's lump
at this
sum.
number?
That's why I did lump sum.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
They can't make no more.
No contingencies on
no.
You've heard the report on
Now, if
the
they come
bid.
into something that happens, of course,
I mean,
Well, something that's unrelated to the painting that.
well, say if
covered.
they sandblast that thing, they wind up hitting it, and by all means, knock a hole in a pipe just because it's
Right.
that bad. I mean, I don't think you're gonna run into that, but we would have to address that.
Right.
It'd be outside the scope.
But within the scope of their bid, no add-on contingencies.
Correct.
How long did they think it would take them to do it?
75 days.
He didn't say.
They didn't say how long, so.
If they come in and move, I mean, it all depends on the temperature, really. I mean, especially this time of year. A lot of it, he talked about was going to be his dust control.
Right.
So they're going to have to. He said they're actually going to board up the. I don't know what room you'd call that.
The back where it goes out to the,
Where you can go down in the steps.
yeah, down the
They're
stairs.
going to board the steps up to a window and make a ductwork there. In other words.
So fan.
And put a door in it where you could still go through it, but yet they'll close the door behind them. So they keep the dust and the paint fumes from affecting the rest of the operation.
You've seen and heard the discussion of the bid for painting that pipe gallery, $89,900. to Charlie Irwin Painting LLC out of Franklin. Should be about a 75-day maximum project, and no add-on contingencies associated with the bid. Board, what's your pleasure?
Motion to approve the bid by Charlie Irwin Painting in the amount of $89,900.
Have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Have a second by Craig. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Kevin, you got anything else?
I've got some plans for after the meeting, we'll look at it.
Okay. Tommy, we'll move into your report.
Yeah, we got bids for, put out bids for the materials for 70 fire hydrants to be done. And Walter A. Wood was the low bid on that. I had the bid tab with it, plus the list of all the individual costs.
Can you explain the difference between the base bid and the alternate one?
The base bid was, it's just the hydrants, just in case y'all didn't like what you saw, the rest of it, you at least might approve the hydrants, you know.
Gotcha.
But I got it, this is everything it would take to do, we're not doing them all three-way valves, but we're going to do at least half of them three-way valves, because there's a lot of places it just ain't feasible to do that. But it would get some new valves in and some new hydrants put in.
And
we'll store them, store them here and do them over time.
So this is a bulk buy
Bulk
for
buy, and
65.
we've been
55, 75, how many of them was it?
70 fire hydrants.
70?
Yeah, you see that total right here on the left, 65 at 42-inch bearing. I got 5.
I'll see the
Three.
second page. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a
sorry, I was
second
just
page.
looking at the
Yes.
front page. And
Yeah, there's just just the tabulation there.
Okay.
Now on this here, these aren't American Darling fire hydrants, so they're M&H, which they're fine. I like them. We can easily fix them as we do the others. There's nothing wrong with them. We got the tools for it too. They actually give them to us before. We've retrofitted some older ones. One of the positives about M&H is the parts are universal throughout their years. They don't change, so that's a positive about them. They're just as good as the one we've been putting in, and it might not be a bad idea to at least have 2 of them. So I want it to be competitive, or they'd have gave us just a high price on it on the other.
Did you request a price for the American Darling? Is this just the cheapest of the options between?
No, we did a how you say it? It was
Or
a,
approved equal.
or proved equal.
Okay.
It has to be like hydrants, be apples and apples is what it was.
So M&H is probably just the cheaper of the two.
It was in this case,
Okay.
yes.
Where are they manufactured?
M&H. I can't remember where they are. Now the American
I got
Darlings
your
are down.
phone out right quick. You can probably Google it
Yeah.
before he gets through talking.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. Now the other ones are down. They got held up when we ordered some because they was down near the hurricane on the Gulf.
Okay.
The American Darlings were, so they got delayed.
They were Alabama somewhere, weren't they?
Somewhere near Texas,
Okay.
they were. That's where they come from.
How much does it save us per hydrant? Is that on here somewhere?
Well, I was going to tell y'all, we've been
Birmingham,
paying
Alabama.
on it.
M&H is made in
Where?
Alabama?
Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham.
That's where the manufacturer, or that's where the corporate office
That's where M&H.
That's where they're made, ain't where they
I
come.
would assume.
1567 looks like the answer to your question.
Yeah.
Look at page 2,
Yeah.
the right-hand side of the top.
15,
What about just buying one-offs? How much we saving by this bulk
That's
buy?
what
I was going to tell you,
15.
I usually buy 4 or 5 at a time, and I get an $1,800 piece price. So, and that's on American Darling. Just buying 5. That's my spending limit. So,
Gotcha.
So we're about 300
yes, sir. You save
Off.
quite a bit of money doing this
by bulk buying.
by bulk buying.
Well, this is 16 and he's 18, that's 200. Did I hear it wrong?
No, well, we were looking at Walter Wood
We're
over
talking
at
about-
1567, 1587.
I was telling you what we have currently paid is 1,800.
Yeah.
For a
We're
five,
approaching, we're not quite 300, but approaching.
So, the top is just the hydrants.
hmm and the bottom is all the stuff to put
If we
in.
pay them to put them in.
No, this is us doing
This
it.
is us.
This is
doing
just
the lines.
material.
It's just the hydrant.
This is just material.
So all that stuff in the alternate, if you were gonna put in a single hydrant, you're gonna need an item number 3 and item number 11. You're gonna need one of each one of
I'm gonna need a
those.
combination. It just depends if we do a three-way or just an individual.
Okay.
I'll need a valve and a hydrant with some fittings, or I'll need a three-way valve and a hydrant and some fittings. It's a combination, kinda, depends on what we have to do, but this covers at least doing half, adding at least half of them are gonna be three-way valves installed.
Well, I'm a little confused. This tabulation sheet says base bid, alternative bid,
Mhm.
base bid and alternate bid.
Mhm.
That doesn't add up. Because the alternate bid was 104,000 San Walter Wood, and the base bid was 109. You add that together, you get 213. I don't understand, and is that 213?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's.
Am I right?
It's wrong on here. Look on
So
your
we
back
could
sheet.
eliminate that right-hand column.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is
You
that
got the
right?
same information on the back side here.
I'm glad you clarified it, because I thought, damn, we think got it.
Well, that's what I was seeing, is you got 109 up here, 104, and that adds up to 213, and you've added that 104 into it again.
If you look on this side here, the total's at the
Right,
bottom.
that's what I'm looking at, but I'm talking about this.
So
Yeah, I know,
on
that's
your,
right.
on your tabulation sheet, if
There's
you
a-
were to eliminate that right-hand box
Right,
altogether,
yep, it got added twice somehow.
Got it twice.
So all in, if we were to take both alternates, we're at a unit price of about $3,050 per.
And you were gonna be charged 2,000 to install them, so.
Well, all in, do you have a feel for an all-in unit price and what you're charging, or what it's costing us to do the one-offs with I'm just trying to get a feel for all those accessories and stuff. Are we getting a lot of savings like we are with the
Oh, yes,
hydrants
I'll
with
give
the
you examples.
accessories?
For instance, I priced this before we did it. And we are getting some savings on the bottom, but we buy those things every day. I didn't look at all of them, but like that anchor tee, that three-way anchor tee, they priced $388. And we have some differences here because some people can't get them. They put in what they could get. So they couldn't provide the three-way anchor tee that we asked for. But they bid on what they had. But this Walter was still lower overall in that bid for that.
Actually, speaking of that one specifically, Tommy, there's a huge difference in price, unit price between Hayes Pipe and Walter Wood. A lot of the accessories are kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Pretty large variations in prices. 96 to 388, 70 to.
They didn't bid, Hayes did not bid a true three-way, that's what he's saying, they did not bid a true.
They didn't
three-way.
bid a true three-way tee that we wanted.
They just
Okay.
bid a regular three-way tee. that's
But
what
even
it's-
though
Okay.
they didn't, it still worked out cheaper overall for the,
did Walter Wood bid
Yes, they
everything
bid.
as you wanted it?
yeah, with exception for the alpha restraint valves.
They got, the alpha valve's got one bolt you tighten
Yeah.
on a valve, the gate
Mhm.
valve, I don't know if you've seen them. And then what they bid was 8, is that what's, no, 6.
Yeah, it's
It's
MJ, regular
It'd be
MJ.
6 bolts.
Yeah.
So you'd be doing 12 bolts instead of 2
Mhm.
on a regular valve, so. It's a little bit more labor intensive.
Once they save you, the only reason some people can't bid on certain things, they can't get them. They don't have a man. They're not able to provide it. Now, I think after first year, that's going to change for a lot of people because they're coming out. More people are coming out with the restraining devices. We by no means have to buy all this. this was a price to look at.
Have we got, adequate space to store all of this if we make a one-time purchase?
It's being built right now.
Okay.
Mhm. There's an 80 by 30 storage building, or lean-to being built at the wastewater plant. We gotta get our pipe out of the sun, and that's one of the reasons we did it, but we can store this there too.
For any given situation, going back to that item number 9, the three-way,
Mm-hmm.
whatever Hayes Pipe is proposing for $100 versus $380, $390 for Walter. I mean, is that a part you could use, or we couldn't even entertain purchasing that?
Well, let me tell
piece
you
for
what he
$100?
didn't. This is something he didn't add to that T. It's a Foster adapter, and they're about $150 a piece. That's the reason I bid the three-way anchor T. It's a trade-off in price, because if you have to buy 2 little adapters to go on that T, bolt it together, and by the time you buy the three-way T with the anchor and that adapter and the fitting, the bolts, you're paying about what you're paying for a T. So
Mhm.
it's a trade-off in cost. Yeah.
I just wanted
Is it a faster install?
It's faster install for us. We can put it together real quick,
So then we save on labor.
save on
Oh,
labor.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's
That's why we chose to do it. And I learned about this probably at the end of the game when we got close to here. And when I saw them, I said, well, that would be a whole lot simpler. If we'd do it faster, we wouldn't be downtime, would be better. We wouldn't be in it'd help us get it done a lot quicker.
We're not getting the cart before the horse, but if we do this 70, we get ready to do 70 more, there's a good chance we wouldn't have to buy all this stuff again.
Well, we could look at that then.
What I'm saying
Yeah.
is if you buy 136-inch MJ bolt and gasket packs without gland, I mean,
And we tried to get what we needed to do these right here. So this is basically what
so
it
out of this,
Yeah.
then you don't expect there to be a whole lot of leftovers.
They shouldn't be.
Okay.
If so, for some reason a three-way T can't be used, three-way valve system, and that's why I bought what I bought. If for some reason they don't work out on a hydrant, I might can fix an intersection somewhere with it, because I've got a few intersections got bad valves that I need to. That desperately would help to have a three-way to control water, to send water one way, not have to cut so many people off. We get into that all the time. And as we add new lines, there's like over in lot 6, that's a good area to put some of them, because if we ever do the transmission line around back to the prison area, that'll help control water and not have to put a lot of people out of water when you've got more valves you got to control with. Just preparing for the future. Now, I found something we need. It's a different thing, but it's found something we need to fix. We'll have to talk about it sometime.
So we had these 2 bidders on this.
Had a third one, but he didn't meet the deadline. He didn't get in here on time.
Would it, again, it's just, you know better than I do certainly, Tommy, for all these accessories being all over the place price-wise, would it make more sense to, I don't know, or if we just looked at accessories only as another bid item down the road, would we have more bidders that would be interested in just,
They
or
would be-
are we
they
just
would
gonna
be
end up with
interested.
these 2 guys again?
They'd be interested in it. Yeah. Matter of fact, knowing what I know now about other companies making these alpha restraints, you'll have more bidders that can meet the requirement we're asking for. Because the first of the year, M&H's supposed to make one.
the proprietary is running out.
The
Okay.
proprietary owners run out and other people starting to make them.
Okay.
If y'all want to wait the first year, by all means, we can do that. We probably, go ahead, you got it.
For clarification, for you, like that 6-inch gate valve with alpha restraint at 601,
Mm-hmm.
okay. That's everything you need to put that in. So if you go down here to a 6-inch with MJ at 502, then you gotta come down here to these grip rings and add 2 of them to it.
Yeah,
So when you put all the, like he's saying, when you put all the accessories back together,
Mhm.
what do we come up with, $35?
yeah.
you're paying $35 more for the Alpha versus the other one, so.
Then you got the extra labor and everything to put it together, so
You do.
it ends up being kind of a wash.
It's a wash. These are a wash cost. It made it difficult.
If it saves labor, then it's saving money.
It's saving time. Yeah.
I guess that's where I get confused then now is we're looking at alpha restraints, and I don't know what the hell that is.
It's a one bolt.
It's a
But you
one.
come down here, like you said, and you got this, and then you got to put this with it. Why are we even entertaining those? Why don't we just go with the alpha on all of them?
Well, we wanted to, but sometimes you might run into, you just needed that 6-inch MJ by itself.
Yeah, some things, it just depends on what you gotta do. Like for instance, right in front of the police department, there's a valve and about a 20-foot piece of pipe, and the hydrant's way off the road. We're not gonna put a three-way valve there. We're probably just gonna put a new valve and a new line and a new hydrant, because we're gonna have to dig all that up most anyway. So that's why I put in the 200 feet of 6-inch ductile iron, because there's gonna be one of them gonna have to be replaced for a pretty good length of period there. So.
And then you got that 6-inch MJ valve. I'm trying to find it. 6-inch.
And I've got, one with it like the alpha valve.
19. Yeah, number 6.
Yeah, number 6.
The reason you got that is because when you come off of a T, a hydrant T, if you use the ductile swivel couple, we got to call that as a swivel coupling, you can't use an alpha in that case. You have to use an MJ.
Mechanical. Yeah.
Because that's what holds that swivel adapter. It keeps it from blowing apart.
It makes it solid and mechanically tied together, no pipe in it. That way it can never.
So there's certain times you can't use an alpha restraint.
Yeah, there's certain times you can't do it.
Yes, sir.
It looks to me that the Walter Wood bid is the least cost on the hydrants and actually had the valves that you wanted.
No.
No.
So,
No,
yeah, I was
it's
gonna
not.
ask that question. Is all the accessories for Walter?
No,
Can we even really accept this bid? Because
You can take the base.
You can take
the base
base.
bid, of course, but I'm talking about for the accessories, because they've substituted some things.
Well,
Hayes pipe substituted
Hayes
some
pipe
stuff.
is
We don't know
substituted.
what they got.
If y'all would like to wait for the first year and see if these other manufacturers roll around, we can try it again. It ain't gotta.
Our bid on the hydrants alone
Is a
is probably a good solid safe
Yes,
bid.
it is.
Yeah.
Which of these would you think is better for what you wanted, what you bid? Which one is giving you the most of what you asked for?
You can't compare them. I'm
Yeah,
doing that to the
That's
point.
kind of what we run into today. There's no way to compare because
Buy
no
our
way
hydrants
to.
and then
Yeah.
take these accessories and mix and match. I mean, we don't have to buy everything for one person, do we?
no, you
Well,
don't.
he's gonna be restrained by a bid limit.
Yeah.
So anything that exceeds $10,000, you have to put out on open bids. He can do 10,000, 99.99 on his own discretion, but if it exceeds that and becomes 10,000 and more, you
I
got
can
bid.
bring it to
And
you.
I understand that, but could he not take these two bids on the accessories
Mix and match them?
and then come back to us with another?
Yes,
Yes, I can
yes,
do
he
that.
can.
Because I want you to buy what you need. I don't
Yeah.
want you cutting corners. I don't want you having to deal with substandard stuff. I'm like, well, I don't want to buy anything from China.
I can't help it.
And hell, I can probably get you fire hydrants picked up in Birmingham.
Well, I guess what I was saying is this bid a bid entirety for all of this, or is this bid for this one item?
That's why you done a base bid. You can accept the hydrants 2.9 as a base
You
bid.
can set the
I understand it, but I'm saying, can we go down there and say, Walter Wood, we want item number 3, number 6, number 9, number 10, number 12, number 14?
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yes, it's itemized.
It's itemized.
Okay, and not take all of it, but take the parts of it we
Yes.
want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
We can mix.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, the ones that you want, take them from all, and then come back and say, okay, Hayes pipe, we want item 7, item 9, item 12, item 15, 17, 19.
Yes. I
Can
believe
we divide this up? I mean, are we bidding these things individually, or are we bidding them in their entirety?
Yeah. Will the supplier accept
Yes.
that? Just piece
They
of
will.
it. Okay.
They want whatever business they can.
I would rather see him pick who he wants to buy it from, what you want to buy it from, and then bring it back to us,
Yeah.
and then let us.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You go down through here and we want item 3, 4, 7, 15, 17 from Walter Wood, and it's this amount of money. We want items such.
Don't you think we need to wait till, if we're gonna go out of the cart like that, don't you think we need to wait till the first year where we have more people to get on it?
I would get the hydrants, would be my
I
suggestion.
mean,
I don't
I'm
wanna
talking
lose-
about the accessories.
I don't want to lose
Yeah, I'm
any
saying-
momentum either.
Huh?
We already got started working on it, I want to keep pushing on it.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't do us any good to have 70 hydrants sitting there if you need these things and you don't have them to put them in.
Either
Let me say
But
this,
if metal
either,
goes up,
either one you choose, they're gonna go in. It just means the way they go in will be different. They will get done when.
And you're also approaching a time of the year that he's not gonna be able
Yeah,
to
we're
do
not
a
gonna
lot
do
of
that
hydrant
either.
work.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna lose a lot.
What's the lead time on this material if we approved it tonight? Or are we gonna push into that time where we're
Probably 30
delayed on
days to-
hydrants anyway?
30 to 45 days probably. If that, the hydrants will take longer, but the rest stuff's usually locally here.
But,
They can get it.
but we
pretty
could
quick.
lock this price in on the hydrant, because I don't want to sit here and then metal go up.
Oh yeah, I recommend highly y'all choose one of these hydrants tonight. Now, the other part is inconsequential.
There wasn't a lot of savings in the other.
There wasn't a whole lot of savings between
Oh,
those.
Yeah, yeah, $2,000,
No,
$3,000.
but you
No,
got
I'm
quite,
saying, buying it in bulk.
Oh, in bulk, there's not as much savings on the accessories.
you did on the
Bulk.
hydrant,
You
so.
save
yeah.
300, you're saving about 300 per hydrant
Yeah, so,
in buying it in bulk.
gotcha.
There's nothing to say that I can't just buy this on my own and do it as I want it and just store it when I need it. That I can do that too.
Yeah, you can go out and buy yeah.
I mean, it
As
doesn't
long as he
matter.
stays below his 10,000 threshold, he can shop.
But we can try it
Every day.
again around the first of the year and try it again and see if it will save us anything. Because there'll be more competitive options then.
You've heard a pretty thorough discussion of this, and I think everybody's grasped what we're doing. We can bid the hydrants alone. We can bid the hydrants plus the alternates. So does someone have a recommendation and put it in the form of a
I
motion?
make a motion, we accept Walter Wood's base bid at 109,505.
Seconded.
Have a motion and a second to accept Walter Wood, base bid on hydrants. That would buy us 70 hydrants at $109,505. Discussion.
I also think we don't need to, we're not saving as much money doing the alternate bid, doing the accessories on the bidding. I'm wondering if we don't just let Tommy use his discretion to get what he needs to get rolling on the accessory. We're not,
Or at least till the first year, like he said.
Yeah, I mean, if you need parts and pieces, Tommy, that we get
Don't
these
let
hydrants, you need
this-
parts
don't-
and pieces.
That won't hold me up.
You know, I mean, buy what he needs to get
yeah,
through.
yeah,
I'll get what I need to do.
I'm just saying, probably buy what you need to get through it anyway. We're bidding, seems like we're not gonna be bidding over much here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a couple $100, couple $1,000, you know.
Well, accepting this base bid will get 70 of the oldest hydrants taken out of your existing system and replaced with new ones.
I'm good with it.
Any further discussion? We've got a motion and a second. Do you have a question?
No, I don't have a question on that part. I'll say something.
Uh,
So,
If there's no other discussion,
Just a question, kind of related. Is there any scrap value to these old hydrants that we're taking out? Can we sell them?
I got 'em.
Would we
Y'all-
sell them for scrap metal value?
I was gonna put them on gov deals, y'all done approved them for surplus.
So somebody might pay $200 or $300 a piece for them or something?
Some people may buy them, some people like them for decoration.
Yeah. Well, I know my dog would like one in the front yard is what I was getting at, but I didn't want to come out and say that.
Well, I mean, they were.
But we're not just gonna sell them for scrap metal. We think we might could sell them for a value for somebody that wants them,
Somebody may
for
actually
decorative or
want them.
whatever. Okay.
They may want parts from them.
Well, I'm just,
Yeah.
even if we got a couple of $1,000 out of them, that helps offset them.
Well, and the hydrants themselves have just recently been tested, so they're functional hydrants. They've just got a lot of age on them.
Yeah, the ones we're taking out are functioning. Most of them are. They're just 50, 70 models. Can't get they're not easily get, they're expensive parts. And don't have a lot, the option for Mueller is that they gotta have so many different kind of tools to take them apart. Very proprietary.
I would suggest putting them on .gov, pallet them 5 to a pallet or 4 to a pallet, whatever a pallet will hold, and list them that way.
Okay.
And typically that works better.
Maybe our neighbors want.
Okay.
Ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
Any other discussions? All in favor of the base bid with Walter Wood at $109,505, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Is done.
Are these pre-painted or are they just?
They're red. Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't help you know any time to do, as far as ordering on the accessories, will it help you any if we, so you could just make one bulk order?
No, but no,
On the accessories
we're not
side?
gonna get, as far as the end of the year, we probably slow down a little bit. We can wait the first year.
Okay.
I've got quite a bit of material right now to do the ones I've got on the yard. I've got, every one I've got here, I've got enough to put them in.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not hurting for material as far as getting them in.
Okay.
And we, for just information on, like on Hayes Street, we didn't have, it wasn't on our list, but we went in and changed the old hydrant in front of the bank. And we did the same thing on Andrews. We went in and changed all the hydrants on Andrews because they were part of those old hydrants. So we've been trying to just go ahead and get them out of the way so we can get all of our paving patches in and get all that done right now.
I think that's great.
So in lot 6, for example, there's only 2 original hydrants on our list. The one over here at the near the hospital, and the one at the Board of Education. Those are the only 2 remaining that I'm trying to schedule to around the kids to get them changed. I was gonna go ahead and change out all those too, because we only like 1, 2, 3, 4. Only like about 2 on Circle Drive that are older, and 2 on lot 6 and Sam Beasley would be the 3. So I'm gonna get all them will be new. We'll go ahead and get them out of the way. Means we're going ahead and getting old stuff, getting rid of the old ones. I've got about 4 or 5 hydrants left, so I'll keep putting them in until I run out of them. And I can get them tomorrow if I want to go to Murfreesboro and pick them up. I'll be buying that American Darling. That's what but I can go get them pretty quick. But I can only buy so many at a time.
Next, Tommy, we had the customer discussion about sewer access on Rom Lane.
Yeah, I just basically
Let's
told
back up and kind of start that again, since we called the meeting to order and we were doing some of it ahead of time.
Where is Rom?
it's up here off River Street, going up before you get to
Went into
Stagecoach.
Dr. Bratton's old farm originally.
Okay.
Randy Bratton's house.
I
Yes.
understand. I got you now.
I think the owner's John Maxwell. He got cattle's all he's got there. It used to be an old house, used to be on sewer, and it's gone, but he has access, and I told him according to my understanding ordinances, he's had to, that's what you're supposed to pay. But he asked me to bring it to the board, and I told him I would, to see if y'all had any other thing to say about it. And I told him I'd bring it to you, because he was just, he wanted to see if he could, something to do about it.
And so we don't have any language addressing agricultural use for water taps and sewer taps. But that's a county, city ordinance, or is that something we have, we could even address?
Well, the sewer is primarily only a city issue. And so it was originally a city ordinance that said if you had water, you were required to pay an equal amount to your water bill, and that became your sewer bill. So you pay both.
Is this group in a position where we could change that? Could we establish a agricultural use policy, or is that gonna be a county commission change? Do they have to change their ordinances and things before we could do something about that with our group?
Well, I can ask if you'd like to.
I think this group can establish its own policy and identify, we approve our rate structure. And what you're talking about going back to is your rate sheet. So if we wanted to have a rate for agricultural, we could do that. We had talked at one time, maybe before some of you all were on board, but the schools are on just a commercial rate. There is no special rate for the 3 schools in town. You could have different rate classifications that fit different types of businesses or uses. So Todd, yes, to answer your question.
Through that process, the rate structure for sewer, if we did an agricultural rate or whatever it may be, we would just set the sewer rate for
Well,
0 or less or whatever it may be.
this also gets back into what we were talking about the last meeting, trying to make it universal. We have hundreds of customers with a water tap for agricultural uses that are not, of course, sewer's not available to them, but they're paying for water, not using sewer. Okay, just because they're in the urban services district, they're having to pay sewer when they're not using sewer. I got a problem with that. Some people are getting it one way, some people are getting another, and when we change this, if we change this language that we were talking about doing, so that we encompass our service area, then that's really gonna be important for us to have a policy either for agricultural across the board, no matter where it is. It's not that big an issue in your urban services, because you have
You don't have too many
But not many
farmers.
farms and
you have more agricultural use in there than you would think. There's some areas that you just don't realize they're there because the way the roads, I could probably.
They're hidden between 2 roads a lot of times.
Right, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Now, whether they're using, it just so happens most of them may not be requiring city water. Some of them may be running them off their house. I mean, we have a water tank that we use in real dry weather. I run it off my house. We didn't set a separate tap for it, but I don't know. I have a problem making them pay for sewer when there's no way that they're even can be using sewer. Just to be able to get the water seems a little, when you're letting other people do it, just over a line, some arbitrary line that was drawn on a map 55 years ago, that nobody wants to move or look at.
Isn't there a tap there though? There was a house there at one time?
There was.
It has access.
And I'm sure if they had a house, they pay sewer, that's obvious. But I'm saying, if it's not being used as a dwelling, a business, some structure there, if it's strictly for, I don't care if they're filling up a swimming pool with it, or they're watering their cows or whatever, if they're not dumping water down the sewer, I really have a hard time charging them for it. Now, what we need to do and how we need to address it, I'm not smart enough to.
The only issue I have, and I'm just playing devil's advocate with the group, I don't want to cause the water department staff to have to get into the extra enforcement and monitoring side of the business to verify that John Doe is putting all of his water into a water trough, and Bill Smith over here is operating and his is going into a house.
What if somebody puts something back and you don't know it?
That's what that's-
It can happen.
That's just what I
Well,
was
if
getting
you're
at.
in touch with the building and codes department, you'll know what's going on those tracts of land. That's your key.
And your property assessor too is supposed to monitor every piece of property every year to see if something's been built without a permit or whatnot.
Mr. Sam
Now, whether they
said
would tell
too.
you, do we have any others? Is this the only one that we know of in the city that's this way?
Someone I'm
Or do
aware
we
of.
have some that are just paying it and we haven't heard from?
Well, we charged Dale Reese, got him on River Valley Drive and on River Street, charging him sewer. One says farm and the other one says barn.
Yeah. He's charging sewer on both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So he's only got that house on that one. Okay, on River Street.
But he's got that property goes all the way back down through there. It's their property over Cemetery Road. And they've got a barn back there and maybe a water and another tap.
There may be several
I
of
think you're
these
gonna find more of them
farms
than you think.
at the
That's what I'm
edge
saying.
of town, the old city limits, that
That's gonna be.
Well, you take all this going out East Main, that Stanley owns, or Philip owns back over to,
correct.
back inside of that, and you've got, I don't know whether any of Andy's across the creek over here. I doubt he's got anything, because he's got the creek.
There's got a big
that
pond
runs all
over
the
there
time.
too.
Yeah, so, but I'm just saying, there's a lot more agricultural property in urban services than you think there is.
Are we talking about urban services or are we talking about inside the city?
Well, the urban services is the old
Okay.
city limits,
They're
they're
the
one and the same. Yeah. There is no city limits anymore.
Okay.
It's
I got it.
urban services, which was the old city limits. Which we'd really like to try to expand, and probably will be looking at doing that in the months to come, to capture some of this growth that's been on the periphery of this, because it hasn't been changed.
But I like Dwight's argument
Wait,
that
Hmm?
you have individuals out in the general services district who have farm or agricultural water taps, and perhaps all they're doing is furnishing water to a shop or a barn or cattle watering. They don't pay any sewer. They just strictly pay a water bill.
But they've got access to sewer.
Some,
No.
some,
Well, they don't have access to sewer, well, of course we're not gonna charge them. So we're only worried about agricultural
Yeah, some-
that also has sewer access.
There are probably some that would have both, yes. But since they're outside this, we've never looked at them, we can't identify them. You see what I'm saying? We'd have to individually look at each piece of property to try to ascertain. But I'm absolutely convinced, because I approved a lot of them in the 8 years as building official. Before you could get a water tap, they had to sign an affidavit that this, I'm using this for agricultural purposes only, and you're not gonna hook up a mobile home to it, you're not gonna hook up an RV to it, and you're not gonna live in a cardboard box with water running. So,
And these are places where the sewer,
where there was
where the
sewer.
sewer existed, we gave
Yeah.
water taps with no sewer
Yeah.
tap.
I'm sure there's some, not a lot, but I'm sure there is some. And then there's a whole lot of them that where sewer's not available, but they're just
And
making water.
that's kind of a big point.
And I guess what I'm saying is, if a man's got a farm over here, and you can give him water, and not have to pay sewer, and this man's got a farm over here, and just because it's close to town,
He's paying the sewer bill
Yeah.
because he's got sewer.
and I would tend to make the argument that his property, the man we're talking about, I doubt that his property abuts the road where the main is. Is that our main going up Rom's Lane, or is that just their line?
I have to go really look at it.
You see what I'm saying? 'Cause that farm, that has no, it has road frontage on the backside,
Backside.
but it has no road frontage on River Street,
Right.
if that's where it's going to. Now, if it's coming off of Careers Bend or Boat Dock Lane, there's no sewer on Boat Dock Lane. There is part of the way out Careers, but not very far, is it?
Up close to that pump station somewhere.
Yeah. So,
I'm
I
kinda-
mean, he may not even really and truly have access, so it might be a moot point. We'd have to look at his property.
I'm kind of new to the board, obviously, and I don't know, but my entire life, my kind of understanding of fees, I've never paid more than the minimum fee for my water bill, $35 a month. I don't use nearly whatever the minimum is. But I always kind of understood those fees to be a minimum fee to maintain the utility uses to maintain the system. So even though I don't use $35 worth of water, I still pay $35. And is that not kind of the argument for the sewer fee, that you're getting water, even though you're not using sewer, that minimum fee is used to maintain the system that's out front of your property, whether
Well,
you use it or not.
The assumption was if you used 10,000 gallons of water in your home a month, that there would be 10,000 gallons of discharge out through the sewer system. Water in,
Water out.
water out.
I guess I'm the bad guy, I just don't think it's enough money to even have to argue about. I mean, just pay the bill. I mean, it can't be that much
A
money.
lot of cities, a lot of this started because when you borrow money, these loan people require you have these ordinances that says you will hook up. And a lot of that starts with these loans you take out. So back in the day when y'all borrowed the money to set this first set of sewer in here, that had to be on the books for you to even get the money.
And a lot of that
To
was
show
back
that
in the
it'll pay it
60s
back.
and 70s.
Yeah.
You were getting those USDA loans.
USDA loans, that was always a requirement. You had to have an ordinance, use ordinance that says you will hook up. So
I'm
that-
really surprised that that house was ever hooked to sewer. I would've thought it would've had a septic system where it was at. They may have been paying sewer because they had to, because it was in the city and you had to pay sewer. But, I mean, you sure it was ever even hooked to the sewer?
That's just what I was told.
I mean, cause I know where that house was and it's up over the hill. You'd have had to have a heck of a pump system to either get up and over the hill. It was back in that bottom of that valley, back down there by that barn.
We're talking about the one in the
On
middle,
Rom's Lane.
the middle of the farm.
Yeah, over in the middle. I guess that's the house we're
That
talking
little
about.
White House.
That's the only house I know about other than Randy and Mary Rose's house, but that's not a part of this property. That's not part of this farm. When you went up over the hill at Rom's Lane and you turned left to go up to their house, the castle, on down in that bottom, down in there in the center of that big bottom bowl.
Big pond next
Yeah,
to it.
there
too.
was the big barn and there was a pond and a small house. I think, Dr. Bratton did have a caretaker person living there, but I would have sworn it was probably on a septic system, but I guess it's a moot point. If you're getting water and you're in the city, we're gonna charge you for sewer. But I don't see how he would have access. Let's just look at it a little bit more and see, number one, if he has access, if he has been using sewer, or if this house was even on the sewer. I think would be a question that needs to be answered. But I think we need to answer this as far if we want to come up with something for people that are strictly using it for an agricultural use.
Let me throw
Maybe
another
not.
match.
Maybe
Is
not.
there any kind of going back to
The
the
veterinarian. one
the
I'm sorry.
kind of going back to that rule about if you when you have a structure, obviously was it TDAC or somebody that said for environmental concerns you have to hook up. Is there any other rules out there in the world that still again say that was the only thing we discussed about justifying that it's beyond us. State says if you're by a sewer, you got a house with a toilet, you hook up. Is there anything else out there in the books, state or otherwise, that would dictate
Not
that kind of thing for just a hunk of land?
What
next
do
to a
other
sewer?
districts do about this? Have you ever run into this before with other districts?
And the one I've ever run in with, it's basically if you use the service.
The only one I've ever seen is the town of Mont Eagle. They got people, they bill it to everybody. You don't even have it and they bill it to you. I don't know how to get away with it, but I always felt that way myself, what you're talking about. but it can't happen, and they voted it in, and people pay it. They've argued about it, but they pay it, but it's part of their rules. I think they have a good.
You're saying if you get water at all, you're paying sewer whether you
In
even have
Montego,
access
yeah.
to sewer.
In Montego, you do.
Ooh, I'd like for us to do that. We could sure have the money to fix our sewer plant if we do that.
That's probably what they're doing.
That's what they're
Out of
doing.
town.
That's how they're getting their grants.
I don't agree with that now, but I'm just saying that's the only place I know of. But I was gonna mention this to you. The veterinarian one time came in and asked for a water tap only, and didn't want to pay sewer, but my understanding was if you had access, the sewer was out in your yard, you paid it. So I said, I can't do that. I can't just set you a meter and not charge you sewer. He wanted it for animals, for usage of his business. But that was my understanding of the rules.
Mm-hmm. That is the rule.
And this was separate from
His
the business.
facility, yeah. And that was what he was asking for. But my understanding, it may be limited, it may have been limited, but my understanding was you can't do that. So you can't have a water without sewer in town, in the city limits, because of access. And
Well, I can see that if it's a building, if it's a business, if it's a home, if it's a mobile home, if it's a shop even, I could.
If there's a structure of
can
that
these-
kind,
If
that-
it's a structure, but where it's just strictly a watering trough, I kinda got a problem with it.
I hate to say it, but can these handful of properties be labeled and be monitored once a year? I think that's about the only justification I can see, because I understand not wanting to pay and not having to pay if you're just using this water animals. I understand that, but you're also going to run into. Hey, I didn't think nothing about it. I built my son turned 23 and he wanted to build a house on the farm, a little cabin, and we hooked up the sewer and we didn't think nothing else about it. I can see that too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's going to
Long
happen.
out RVs.
Or a
Yeah,
bathroom in the shop.
a bathroom in the
Or
shop. Yeah,
I've got a full bathroom in my shop.
yeah, so I mean, I think, and I'm not for other departments monitoring our work. They drop the ball, then it looks bad on us. We need to be monitoring our own. So it puts more work on us. But I think for these handful of properties, I think we need to try to identify them. And
But how do we maintain that going forward, Craig? I mean,
somebody's gonna have to go out and
that
monitor
guy
them
can
once a year.
subdivide his farm into 20 lots.
Well, it used to be
None
it wasn't
with
a problem, you
structures,
went up there
but-
and read the meter, but you don't go read the meters
Yeah.
now, so it's a problem.
Yeah.
Seriously, I don't know. I foresee this being a bigger problem if we encompass the whole county like we were talking about doing it. Or when we start expanding these city limits, hopefully, it's gonna be an issue. So I think we need to address it. In this particular case, let me look at his property and see if he even passes the litmus test of access on that.
Well, let's carry this on to the next month's meeting and try to finalize it then. I think we've had some good and valid discussion, and if in fact you want to create a separate category for agricultural use inside your urban service, you could certainly do that.
And we just look and see if some of the other districts have something like that or not.
yeah,
I mean, that, I don't want us, I want us to do what we need to do. I don't want us to do what somebody else has done, but
Check with
There's no-
Gallatin,
yeah,
they've got
no
some
need to
farmland
reinvent the wheel.
inside the city that's still existing. Check with, Lebanon probably does too. Some of the other towns close by, Lafayette's gonna have some farms in the city. I don't know how they deal with theirs.
that's what I'm saying.
But we'll continue this discussion and try to finalize it at next month's meeting if everyone is agreeable.
I am.
agree. We'll get ahead of it.
I'm a firm believer, anything that comes up will come up again.
You're down to the end of your agenda, public comments, board member comments. We had no guests tonight. Board members, anything else that needs to come up? Craig makes a motion to adjourn.
You can bring yours out.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave, I'm sorry. I did
retract my
that.
motion.
There you go, Tommy.
We forgot to talk about this other stuff. I was wanting to ask y'all about, putting out a request for proposal for the software for the office, or the utility again. We've got a head standstill trying to get stuff that was, to get it fixed. It's just keeps going backwards.
That software we bought is not a good buy then, is what you're telling me.
The software, I think, would be excellent if they had this customer service to operate it. That's the problem we've had. We bought 3 new iPads for employees to use on our service, same iPads now that we've been using. 3 more to add our employees to these work orders, mobile services. And now the response was they couldn't get them to work, so the response was they're not gonna work. But the other ones we use identical, they work fine. I just don't understand it. It's just getting more and more like this.
Who is it? I don't even know who it is.
It's Logix, but they were bought out by
They were
Edmunds.
bought out by another company during our
And that's where the
changeover.
problem has come in.
The new company does not have near the level of customer service
No.
that the original company had.
Well, is there somebody else that even has this?
Yes.
And they fit into our, they
Is
fit
it
into
the same
system.
software?
No,
Would we
it'd
be
be
buying a
new.
service agreement from another
It'll be a
company
new company.
or brand new software?
Be new software and everything.
Okay.
How much are we paying them now as a yearly maintenance fee or license?
It's about 18,000, 20 something.
And you can't get nobody to do
But
Well, we paid local government a little over 20,000
Yeah, I
for
know.
that software,
I
and it
remember that
didn't
too.
work either.
But they, we put money in the budget this year for this, so it's there. We put $50,000.
We've been struggling with this software
We've been trying
almost
to-
since we bought it.
Yeah.
It was a big decision then, but between the time we voted on it and the time we got it installed, the company went through a buy, unbeknownst to us, and that's where the customer service side of it kind of dropped in a hole.
We had the same problem.
Did it?
What I was going to ask y'all if the biggest thing that you got coming up is the project for the meter system. If we could move it where I have to do a 2-week bid process, but I'd like to ask y'all to either do one or two things. I'm gonna try to advertise. If y'all say I can go ahead and do the advertising, I'll start that as soon as possible. 2-week advertising I have to do. Can we either have a special meeting or at least allow the executive committee to help make an approval on something if we can get moving?
Tommy, we can go either route. If you want
Cause
a
it,
full meeting and we can go that route, we can allow the executive to approve and then follow it up at the next regular meeting.
but it's whether y'all would like, I just wanna bring that up to y'all, see how y'all would like to do that.
Can we do our due, I mean, is there a way to do due diligence, call other utilities? What are they using?
We've done that. We talked to TAUD. They can't recommend anybody, but they give us names of utilities, and there's one company that's, and I had them where I was from. They're an excellent company. They're not going to be the cheapest company.
Which
but
one are you looking at?
United Systems. We looked at them before.
UMass.
They bid on
Yeah.
this, you know.
But they were,
They
Yes.
were higher. But I'm learning
If I'm not
that
mistaken, they're the ones Castellan is using.
Castellan used.
And they had excellent customer service, had the capabilities to remote in and fix your problems on your desktops.
That company there, my experience where I was from, it didn't take them 2 years to fix something.
For the bidding process of something like this, do we just have to say we need software, or can we define the scope
I
of the
got-
bid so where
You
we
can
narrow it down
probably
to
need to restrict your,
get what we
Let
kind of
me,
want?
I've got
Okay.
that. I didn't get to make it for you. I can email y'all a copy to look at it. We've got something that makes it, you have to show us that you have at least 20 places in the state of Tennessee.
You could go back to what you used last time and just
I'm okay, if it's okay with you, Tom, letting it go to the executive board. I don't really have an expertise
I
in
don't.
software
Get
and
what you pay for, that's what I know about
you
software.
guys know what you need more than we know, more
These
than
things
I
have
know
got
what
to
you
have
need.
software that
So,
works.
I think it'll streamline the process, and I think that's what
And Mary
everybody
Dale, it's
needs.
been a struggle from day one, hasn't it?
We have all,
It's better than local government.
it's better than local government, I have to say
Yeah, but
that.
it's still been a struggle.
Right.
It's not been smooth.
I think me and Sissy was
It took
supposed to been
6 months to get
handling that the
some
last time,
That's
and
That's quite a few years ago.
Sissy handled it, and I didn't do much, and it wasn't because I can't do nothing but look at numbers on the paper, guys. That obviously that's not going to get us what we need. So
If you're in agreement, and I sense you are, I would like a motion in the minutes that gives Tommy the authority to put together bids and specs for new software.
I make a motion we put together. Tommy puts together bids and spec for new software, and also turn it over to the executive committee to make the decision on. I'm working with them to make the
There is a
decision.
motion, is there a second?
Second.
Mark White, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say no. Okay. Tommy, is that anything else?
No, that's all, I apologize for not.
Craig, we're back to your motion.
I make a motion. We adjourn.
All in favor, get up and leave.
Hey, at least
Thanks, Ben Martin.
It is, that's so good. We made a step.
Stephen principal's awesome.
We're better than we were.
We were better.
We've not been in the corner talking a lot of times before.
That, company offered to let us go over their software, but it was like local government. They were gonna pay to do it for free. And they're good, you're getting wrong, I think they, and they're hoping to take two products and make it work. This thing got
Contacting you
2 years ago,
about this
before we bought it, they said they could do our retirement.
don't be
Still
blindsided
they got it.
if you receive
They called me
an
last week,
email
said
or a
something
phone
like
call, not giving him your cell number, not giving him your email. So that
This is what I was
he
talking about.
was working to put the legal description together for an easement off of the survey.
Just refresh my memory though. Where did it go run exactly?
It is.
It is. I don't have it back, but it's off in that back corner.
This becomes over
You,
here. That
your
becomes a
property
pond.
comes to a little
The
triangle.
whole back,
Point
over
back
that
there.
area, you know?
And,
So it'd be towards the upper end of our property.
And we got this, there's a door over here, you'll see on the.
well, the last sewer tap is at,
The problem is you
map.
lose these
The
spaces.
last sewer tap is at Claiborne Lane.
They're not used that much at all, except up
Cause I
here.
think the sewer line runs right in here.
Yeah.
They'll see it at the upper
So we own it up to
building,
there?
you know,
Yes, sir.
used to probably be it, but from
And,
there
and the
down,
last
there
sewer
was
tap
very,
is
very
somewhere
shallow
in
here.
the neighborhood of that Claiborne
We-
Lane.
And then-
So we're talking
We
about,
can't even use any of that.
Go around. We'll
and this is,
something.
well,
We,
sorry.
we
That's
always
what I
talked
was
about
concerned
that.
with. That's why I was wanting to widen this.
That's
so we can go
Anderson's
from-
property, and
Yeah,
that's your
I still
property.
can.
So
Yeah.
we've gotta cross a
We don't-
little
to
bit of
me,
yours
that-
to get.
We don't have room
pipe
here, you're
to
gonna
him.
tear a building off if you
But
want.
Brandon is gonna handle the
That's what
legal
I'm
side
saying.
of it.
We
You're having to
Scroll
redo
down
this
towards
from
the
here
other end of
back,
our
so all
property.
you're having to do
We
is just
sold the
have
deed.
to
We
widen
sold the
this
deed
an
all the way
extra
down
couple of
Yeah,
feet.
you come down through here.
We've
Somewhere
got
in
the
there.
road, I mean, we've got the
To somebody or
frontage,
something.
and I
I
don't
think
think
it may have been those
it's not
apartments. I don't
gonna
know.
affect the
Stan, I
drainage
think it was
issue, I
Stan.
don't think.
It won't.
It's more
gotta
the
cross
frontage
these things.
is in.
Yeah, I can get that in the
But we need the other,
here. Cause right
Even
there,
told him
forward,
the truck
there's
is
have to
service.
come.
Right.
we need to go to the other
They
end of
still go
your
out there,
property,
but-
back in
Oh,
there.
hell yeah.
I'd
say every other car.
Down toward the creek.
They go right down the wrong way.
I mean, look,
Around here.
So,
Those
I
little
mean,
white dots
that's
right there,
what I've
just
been saying all
junk
along,
vehicles.
that we need to.
right beside those, it's
See,
so
you don't
grown,
need
we've never, even-
24
hell, I don't
feet.
think we've ever even been back to the property.
It's about 20 now,
It's
I
like,
think.
it's
It's
pretty
unusable,
wide.
it's
It's
down
7
that
inches
creek.
wide, so it's
Brandon's
about
gonna be in touch
You know,
with you.
other than
I just
maybe a
wanna
little
kinda open the door
additional,
and let you know,
like
so
you got
you
right
don't,
in here.
if he emails you, don't blow it
but-
off.
I mean, yeah, it's
20
curved,
footers
it's
right
paved,
there.
but
And if you got any
it shouldn't be
questions,
that
let
hard
me
to
know.
take out that curving and just pave that strip up to the existing pavement. So you wouldn't even have to.
Yeah.
footers already.
Yes, sir.
We'll do it here, we
guarantee it's
Well,
going
that's
on.
what
I was out there with a 5-gallon bucket picking up junk. If it ain't,
I'll go out there and pick up, I'll be out there picking up with you if it ain't.
No, seriously, I got some good stuff.
But tractor trailer,
I've already got it.
See, that repair's already
Something
one.
look
I
through.
need to,
That's a
I
double
need to
right
cover
there.
the whole driveway
So I had
from
three
the
quarters
house
away
to the
going.
road.
Come in.
And
Also
you need
want
that
to
for
cover
the
that
trucks,
driveway
I don't
from
know
the
that it really
barns
needs to go this way.
up to
Cause
Christy
you come out here,
Bradley's
you
house.
come
Okay.
this way.
There's one, there's a little
I just
piece that
think
goes
this
between the
drive needs
barns.
to be all the way back.
But I want some stuff on that, all of it.
And I may be the only thing.
Well, you never call it whatever you can haul.
Supposed to be in this Friday, so I
Yeah,
probably.
the price of that's gonna be probably,
It
if
may
they
take-
turn into that and try to make that.
Oh,
look
it
like-
ain't.
Truck fast enough.
I mean, I know this is not you.
I know, you gotta, we can haul gravel 24/7. Why can't you?
Because you Corey won't open
Tear
the
that
doors
out, make it look right, and with that roof all the way across.
Yes,
you're
it's
talking- You're talking more money doing that
Across the
than
wall, so
trying to
that's not
add an
bad.
extra 4 foot
So I
down.
can't haul
24/7.
Is that a Flames?
Yes.
Oh, our property?
Building in here.
Told you we sell it to you.
I know.
Huh?
Well, at least.
I'd lease it for twice what I sell it for.
We're talking about widening this and making a.
Hey.
Why
we
is
can
it all
charge
the
you
way
regular
so-
one apartment.
Because they
They
can't
already
read
in
it.
it.
We're not charging
This
everybody.
is, we're sitting right
We
here.
have more.
Yeah.
Hey, we'd be like Mount Eagle, we charge them for everything.
This is
Hey,
a little
what we
metal
gonna do?
building,
Get
the
the workers
archives
going?
building's back there.
I hear you. Hey, see y'all. See.
School crew, got bays.
Yeah, I'll show you the whole building here, just, that's the area. That's utilities. My question on the utilities is, where do you wanna get water?
No, there's water running this way. Now here,
Just bring one from the road?
we can come to the road.
Okay. And then power, you wanna come off of this, there's a pole down here. 3-phase down here. Right in here.
They're probably about to set way more, ain't
Do what?
They're probably about to set way more. They build them buildings. Whether you think,
Well, I mean, I've either gotta come all the way out here, or come back here.
whichever is the best distance if it's accurate.
It's really up to Tri-County, I mean, like he's saying.
If they'll
he
let
said,
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they'll let it.
So there's the slab, but, yeah,
And this is what,
60 by 100.
Okay.
There's that. So here's your doors. You got 1, 2, 3. There's a big one over here.
Why would it not be, I'm sorry, would it not be better if this was reversed? And all of this on this end so that this door,
You wanted to drive through.
Oh.
This falls off like a bluff over there.
oh, so you're moving everything out of here?
Well, we thought when this corona hit here, that it would have been nice to have something like this out here to.
I was just gonna put a teller window in there just in
So
case.
I
We
didn't
were
know we
going-
were doing that, I thought we were.
It's just an option, y'all have to
If you
try.
don't- Yeah, if you don't want it.
We're not trying to get out of here, I'm just saying it would have been something to have.
I thought we were talking about doing a literal drive through the shop.
These are-
There's two.
Oh, there's
One,
doors there?
two,
Okay,
three.
okay, gotcha,
And
gotcha.
you got one on
They'll,
Yep.
the building will, that part of it will resemble the fire hall where you got the capability of pulling
Yep.
from back to front.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, this one won't go all the way through. There's 4 on this side, you'll see in the elevations. This one's just, and there'll be a drain, I ain't got the drain showed though, like for water, you know, if they wanna wash something, like the wash bay.
I got all the field material you need for that back
Is that a conflict of interest?
What is the purpose of this
If I need to
door?
resign real
You work
quick,
around that.
if I need to resign real quick, you know.
He had that one to go down.
You resign for 3 months?
I resign.
Vehicle.
I resign.
I mean, you can either way, it's just another way in.
Just one. It just seems,
What was your reasoning on that?
it seems redundant to have this door here, if you got a door here, you're gonna back truck to here, back truck to there.
It's long, I don't remember. I don't know,
I mean, I could see maybe having an exit door, I guess, if you're gonna have a,
Now, the only doors I got is that one and this one, so that's,
I mean, I could see having just a
No,
door
we're
to
not
get out
gonna-
and in, if
if
the
we're
door's
not
roll up
gonna-
for and up, like we've got at the fire hall,
All
but
that asphalt.
I don't see the purpose
Yeah, you
of
can do
that.
away with it.
You know, if we got rid of that door, that's gonna knock out 20, 30 grand of site work right there.
That's what I was getting at.
Optional, it ain't gotta be there.
It just seemed like that was useless, or would be, I just don't know when you'd ever use it.
First
Why you'd ever-
observation, I would say I would agree now, unless we come up with
Is
some
it
more
yours in
valid
the-
reasons.
But now, I would put a door, I would put a
People
regular people
Yeah.
door, in case you needed to go out.
You
We're
may
gonna
be parking or
egress.
something around here and,
Yeah. I mean, I could see that, but, and I'm not, and if there's a reason for it, I just don't see any real need of it. And I know those roll-ups are expensive. And you see, you're dealing with all of that area there, and that can make you shove it even
Well, I gotta
closer to the
keep-
property
I gotta
line if you needed
I gotta
to.
keep it right there.
So you gotta keep that in front, yeah, yeah. So what do we have here?
Conference room, a 30 by
Alright,
19.
alright,
that would be a place for board meetings as well as
Training.
staff trainings.
yeah.
Mayor, you gonna miss us when we quit holding our meetings in here?
2 off of this, that makes sense.
Materials and parts.
Yeah. Go both ways with it. Keep the doors far enough away from the corners that you can put shelves behind them.
Well, that one's kind of, I'm dead set on this one because of having to put
The stairs.
The stairs.
I'm talking about this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
I
that.
would be 2 foot away at least, so you could have 2 foot pins if you needed to.
Overhead storage.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you that in just a second.
Just thought.
Don't matter to me. I can put that in wherever you want it.
Mudroom.
That's the mezzanine, upstairs. I'm not-
Finished or unfinished?
It'll have flooring on it.
Just for
Concrete
records,
floor.
No,
storage.
it'll be, Advantech flooring.
Okay.
Just for records, storage.
Yeah, it's for records, because we was gonna put it downstairs and then it wasn't gonna be big enough, so. You already had it and it didn't cost that much to beef up the ceiling joist. Now this one, unless y'all really want it, I'll show you. Yeah. Unless y'all really want this for storage, cause I really gotta beef them up, cause that's a 19.5-foot span
Mhm.
to put storage, so I'm trying to put a rail there and say, look, just don't even, cause it'd be costly to floor that and put something over that span, but this ain't no trouble.
Cause you got walls for it.
Each one of them slide down viewers out of the wall. Just aggravate.
So you got,
There
Almost
is one
12
like
square
that
feet
at
of stuff.
Mount View, at their board meeting, they got one that slides down. And it comes out of the ceiling for your, be able to project them.
I've got one, huh?
roof plan ain't very exciting on this building. So this is, if you was in a parking lot out there, that's how you'd be looking.
I'm not trying to get in front of most of his hauling or anything, but you know, if y'all, if you trust me,
This is the side
I
facing,
have my own pit.
White Oak Street.
So,
Yeah.
We,
If you're looking, it'd be that.
I think on that Bolton, is that in there?
yeah,
Some of it's dirt, some of the last we got had on a rock.
yeah, and that's,
This would
I was
go away.
buying there too, and that's what told me to move out.
And it doesn't even have to be in the
It
center, it
wasn't
could even be
big, so
more
I got to where it's
or
the quality of it, it's not.
We're going
front, like that way you could go
We
either
got
way.
to resell all this project, a little some of it.
That's
Okay.
We had
kitchen,
some
boardroom.
spots we're gonna fix, we will have to have some.
Mhm.
Yeah, but like I said, I know,
Office.
you know, most of us, I don't wanna get in between
That's
that,
boring.
but,
Well, he's mostly just hog stuff,
right.
well, he's went to the, I want, whatever,
Like I was telling,
I forget.
Dwight there, that door, I've got this,
Seems like it's.
it's a, stairs up and this will be like
it's got
a little landing area. And I've gotta have it for
You
my
got 20
post, you know, the door there.
Yeah, I
This
think
might
it's
go
35, it'll be just a 10.
Right.
And then my stairs is pretty much hung because of that door to get in the boardroom.
I'll get with you. I ain't really set
That's
up price for
boardroom,
anybody else. I was just now talking
kitchen,
about that, but
bathroom,
I just remember John Law down there too.
mechanical, plumbing,
We
electrical.
got about 4 or 5 of those, stored them down here just in case we didn't get caught with that, be able to get some, but it was hard to find there.
Got a laundry.
It does.
But,
And that's kind of what we had to do. That's what we had to change. We had the records down there, and I couldn't get a laundry room in, so he said, move.
And like I
He
said,
said, why don't we just put that upstairs? I said, well, that's, we've got plenty
you
of
know, if y'all
room.
trucks wanna haul, it's fine.
Paying for that
Just let me
space
know. I can be
anyway,
out there
so.
loaded and everything, but,
And it's just a section to show all the bathroom lines,
I will.
mentions on
I'll
there.
go, we'll go evaluate, we're going to evaluate tomorrow.
What's
See
the
what we
peak?
may need.
Like 20? Oh, no, the peak is, the E is 20, and the peak is 3 on 12, so.
yeah, I got some,
We got,
See, 26.
yeah.
pushed up.
Let's see anything different.
What's your preliminary guess on construction?
When it'll go to construction?
Cost.
It's still about where I'm at. I mean, it may be time you add.
But if you want to, yeah, once you come in, that way if they're muddy, then we'll go
Okay.
there and they can go around.
Sounds like
Break out the door.
The only thing I didn't have in the original bid was the upstairs. So, but it was a square foot price too, so.
None of that will be finished up there, other than.
No, but the railing will eat you, OSHA compliant railing will eat you alive usually, so. These ain't usually cheap either, so.
Then you do half rail, a half wall instead of a rail.
I could.
Half wall would be cheaper probably than doing a rail.
Now up here, I was gonna do it where, like you could.
Yeah, I
lift
know,
some
but I'm talking about where you're
Yeah.
dividing off this part there. I mean, a 4-foot wall,
Yeah, 42 each, so you get a rail, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as.
so if you did a 48, then you're not cutting sheet rock, you're hacking a 2 to 4 in half to make your wall. I mean, from a material standpoint, that's the most efficient. If you make it 42, you're cutting 6 inches off of everything throwing away. Why not make it 48? That's my point. But, yeah, I like that. I just didn't know we were moving all of the office up there with, drive up and mow.
Well, that was a COVID thing right here. It always had an office.
Show the mayor where we were talking about the drive and that coming in, he's right here, we were talking about that.
Right here, talking about
This is existing road,
making it a little bit wider.
and I'm saying to get these trucks and stuff in and out, that we need to widen this whole drive all the way out.
So you'd have this thing
And the way the drainage is, it would probably have to come off this side over here. If we got enough room between here and the.
going. You do, right there's probably, right there.
Yeah,
I
so we got plenty of property line there to do that. Because if you don't, you're gonna have these big trucks coming in here and unload
The
stuff.
trouble was getting out over here.
You're gonna have to cut this off, and by the time you pay to cut this off, this would cost probably less than trying to tear into that building and redo that overhang.
Well, even if you're gonna cut, I wouldn't agree to cut this whole thing off, cause COVID told us we need to have something.
Oh,
out
no,
there.
we're just gonna do one.
That outside
Cut
lane.
that outside.
But see, you're
So
cutting
you're just
into the
gonna
root
widen this,
system.
make it a 2-lane.
Your
Yeah,
property
that's a
boundary
lot of
against,
concrete, whatever you're-
Tri-County is, your lot line is pretty close over there.
Oh,
too.
we're at it. We're
It's
6
right there.
inches from it, I think. We're right
Yeah,
on
we
it.
didn't shoot that property line, so.
No, we can't go wider here, but it just made sense to me to just make this a little bit.
I think those pine trees on that side were all on this property.
They're right on
Here,
the line. I
We
think.
won't bother these pine trees,
Yeah.
but we
Well, there
will.
was 2 rows
You're
of
losing
them,
these right
and
here.
the bank
Mhm.
planted them when the bank owned this.
Okay.
So all of the pine trees go with this property. None of it went with the Howell property.
Take them down if we have to. but
Yes,
it just makes more sense to me for us to have a good access in and out for trucks. Not have a bottleneck here. I mean, I know it's wide enough for a truck to come out of here, but somebody turns in.
Can't
Yeah, you
turn.
don't do that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
out here you can't turn good.
no.
Well, we was doing this anyways.
We're
Widening the
talking
acres.
about making
Good
that
radius.
bigger anyway, so why are you not just put another 2 or 3 feet down the side right there?
Make it fully 2-lane traffic.
I will. That's what y'all want. We was going to address it one way or the other, you know.
All you're paying for is a little extra gravel and the paving.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're gonna save this now, so
Yeah.
this will go.
Pretty much take care of that up there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if there's a reason for that indoor, I'm fine with it. I just couldn't
That's
see what
fine.
your reason, when you got one here and one there, why you'd need one in the middle down
I
there.
think your pull-throughs will be
I don't think I
sufficient.
made it any taller. I really do that.
That's not it. I really don't remember putting it in.
It was on there.
I'm sorry if I just don't remember.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times.
I might have had a good reason at the time, but I just couldn't think of it.
10 foot, 12 foot,
Yeah, they're 14 by 12, I think.
14 wide and 12 tall.
I think so. Don't hold me to that. I didn't bring my scale with me.
Be worried more about the tall than the width.
Gentlemen, we'll see you.
They
Go
are,
get them, Tiger!
Oh, yeah.
they are 14 because
Okay.
16 is gonna be your track, and I can give you some more to get up under the 20-foot.
And have 2 feet over
You need
it.
help with
And
it?
then
No,
we'll
I'm
see.
fine.
Yep. We'll address that. That's pretty vague, but
Yeah, good enough.
this is the tank project. So that's starting down here at 41, coming up here, just being on the 12-inch.
See, this farm we were just talking about is this property.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, this is Rom's Lane right here. No, this
No, no,
bridge.
no.
I'm one over, I'm one
It's
over.
way down here.
Rom's Lane's right here.
Comes
Well, this
around, it comes
This
back
is a
around.
different map.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Where's River?
It is.
Oh, okay, these two.
Yeah, it would
Oh,
be,
that's
if
River
this was
Street.
one continuous map, it would be.
It would be over in.
That's what I was
Right,
thinking.
right, that's what was wrong.
And so this is a driveway.
Ron Lane used to come out and go out, didn't it? Or had a loop.
That's what the tax assessment thing, it shows that this is.
Circles all the way around.
It does.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we're coming down, and this is that house. So when we get the property line, we're gonna do a 45 and a 45 and bring it. That's exactly where the tank's going. I've got a pipe, I've
So
got,
it's in behind this house.
yes, but there's our property line, you can see it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the photo. I've got, I didn't have,
So now, when we come across, how are we crossing to this side? Are we,
we're always on this side. We'll bore their driveway. It's paved, so it'll be,
so we're coming down through here?
yeah, the right of way of Perrier's Bend.
Okay, and we're gonna go under their driveway, so we're not coming up over here anymore, we're coming up way down here?
Correct.
Okay,
Following the road.
okay. That's what always threw me, I was trying to figure out how we got from here straight across.
Well, I mean, if you wanna try to obtain the easements, then we'll go for it, but.
No, I couldn't figure out how we were trying to, I never could, when they bought the property, figure out how they were planning on accessing the property from over here.
Remember that for a raw water line.
Well, yeah, correct.
If we ever put the water plant in the same property, you'll need to get water up through there somehow, some way to the plant.
And it's rough.
It is rough.
Uh,
There is a gas easement and all that through there too somewhere.
yeah, it's down here.
Down further
Yeah,
down.
gas line runs up through
It
here.
runs up through there.
Mhm.
Oh, there's plenty of room here, this is not on the bluff side of this road? I thought it was kind of bluffy along part of this somewhere through here.
Well, on down, but they'll stay.
It's
right-
further down,
They'll
not
stay
up
at the
here.
bottom.
Okay.
There's some.
It'll be right in here.
It's
That's-
closer
that's
to
where
our
I was
pump
going.
station.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're actually not coming up from down here, we're coming off the road.
There's a 12-inch main that runs to the tank now, so that's what we're tying into.
Okay.
Yeah, this 12 here goes to
To Grover.
Grover already.
Already.
Okay,
So we're just teeing into it there at the stagecoach and running around.
okay. Alright. Well, didn't it one time we were talking about trying to take a 12-inch up Ron's Lane or something?
Well, we were looking
To go
at, we were
on the
looking
backside
at
of it,
Morrison,
maybe?
we're going up on top of Morrison at one
Well, I
time.
know it was, Morrison was gonna come down
But
to
we
the-
were gonna come to Ron and go to Morrison is what we was going.
Okay.
To
But
get
there's
that
no way to come back across
Ron to,
to Ron's or across that farm instead of going down the road?
I don't know.
There's a gas line all the way up through
There's a
there.
gas
That's
line.
further down, I think.
It crosses somewhere to there.
Well, I mean, like, if you follow that gas line comes right through here, you could come up through, you go up that gas line and get to the thing.
I guess what I'm asking, if
That
we
gas
could
line
come
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that's
back
a
in
gas line.
this way.
Yeah, that's a gas line.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes up behind the property there.
Oakley dokley.
And then the other's just a tank, but it's not going to.
I don't think I realized this was gonna be as far back off the road that it is. I guess I
Well, that's the
envisioned
highest knob.
being closer over this way.
Yeah, that's where it's gotta be to make it
Okay.
the same level as.
Gives you the same
Hall
as
Town.
Hall Town.
Mhm.
Okay.
And be a concrete.
Now, how are we gonna access it? Where's the access road gonna be? Is it gonna
I'm following
follow
the one
this?
that's already, no, well, that's up to y'all. Right now, I'm following the one that's there. I don't know if you've been out there, but the Kemp's, ain't that right?
Yeah, they used it to come in there. and
The
do
Kemp's
clean.
cut one already, and I
Yeah.
pretty much used it.
Okay.
They had to go up there and clean the access.
But I can make-
sewer, or that gas main.
You know, they're gonna clear this out anyways to put that 12.
Well, that was my,
So if you want it, I can come all the way up through here.
well, no, if there's an
Now, this is
existing,
gonna
but
be,
if we had to build a road, it makes sense to me to build it where we're doing.
well, you're gonna have to build it. This will be the shortest, but
Mhm.
it's gonna be steep.
Mm.
Yeah.
So the other way, you.
The other way is kind of, you got a little bit of lumps and then
Mhm.
leveled out.
Okay.
This one is gonna be.
All we're doing is. just
This one's gonna be a
gravel.
lot like industrial tank or whatever.
TVA.
Yeah, whatever.
So it'll stay cleared, we'll try to mow it and all this sort of thing, we'll maintain that line, I mean, you won't let it grow up or anything, will you?
No, we got that bush hog now.
Yeah,
That's what we
so I
do.
mean, we're gonna have to bush hog it.
Yeah, we'll have to clean it.
That's why I was saying if you have a road on top of it.
Well, I mean, you might still could come off of the road and go up and around if you to pan it out.
Oh yeah, I mean you could keep the one.
Cause it gets up here.
One way or the other,
flattens
you're gonna
out.
have to. One way or the other, you're gonna have to build it. And more than the hardest part of this project's gonna be getting concrete.
Getting it up to the hill?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're going to contract.
You're gonna have to build a really good road
Yeah,
in
the
it.
contractor's going to build something.
They
I
can,
wouldn't be surprised if they ain't gonna sign waivers and have a dozer that pulls them.
they can, these new trucks, they can get some pretty, as long as it's solid, if it's
Right.
solid, they can pull some grades. They got some granny gears on them puppies.
That's just that's showing where the ladder will come up and you gotta hatch. That's kind of what it would look like.
Is that where we go swimming?
Yeah, yeah, jump in it if you want to. This is, they gotta have a 20-foot clear up there to drive around during this thing. And that's kind of what it looks like as far as grade goes. This will go and then this kind of falls down on the,
So your flat side's gonna be 20 foot.
yeah, your steepest side is right here. And that's what that tractor's doing.
Okay.
And it'll be rock. I mean, we're gonna be moving some rock out of it.
Now, is it going up or is it going down?
Which way? This is down low. This is your finished grade up here.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so it's actually going
So
up.
we're gonna
on
cut
it.
the back end.
So we're not really at the top of the crown
No,
completely.
no.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's just a knob up there. I didn't have that sheet done yet, but if I had that sheet done, I would have showed you the whole
Oh,
side.
that's okay. I haven't been up there. You need to take me up there.
But that's kind of a cross section of what that tank looks like. You got your ladder.
And it's how big across?
It is 100 feet across,
Uh-huh.
37,
30 something deep, 40 deep.
37.3, I think. I ain't seen that yet. Well, he's got it here.
The top is what? Concrete?
Yes, it is concrete.
Okay.
That's just details, but you don't want to see all that.
Does this have, it doesn't have any kind of like floating lid inside, does it?
A floating lid?
No, it's got an overflow, that's what that's showing you, it's like a big overflow that'll dump in
Okay.
at 819. It's got, here's your inlets, and it's got a drain.
A lot of people have done away with this right here, and it's caused a lot of aged water
I
problems.
can see where you need to
But
be
if you
able to
let-
access whatever level of the water you need to pull from.
And I'll show you what we do also. We do ours a little different. This is how we put it in the tank. So when it comes in, we start putting reducers on it, and we turn that. And so when this comes in, it forces it,
It mixes
it makes
water.
It'll mix it, make a.
it makes it on its own without having to pay for the mechanical mixer, which
Sure.
so it's a little bit different on how we. And of course, you get these every so often as you go loop. So.
Concrete tanks stay a lot cooler.
Yeah.
The water stays a lot cooler.
Now we ain't painting this one unless somebody says go for it. So
Outside or inside?
either way, you never paint the inside.
Well,
And there's no reason.
Is there
When you
any
paint-
life-
When you paint one, it's yours to keep up
is it
for
life-
10
does it
years.
help any life expectancy?
It don't.
I don't know. I wouldn't do it if it ain't gonna help the
We
life.
we try our best not, because it's just a maintenance nightmare. That's what you're trying to
You
get out
just, you
of.
try and get out of painting it all together, but
That's what makes them.
I don't know, I guess I would have thought they were doing some sort of epoxy paint on them now or something.
You can get it, but it's 10 years. Every 10 years you got
the
to.
only time we did a concrete tank like that is if it's chemicals gonna be going into it, like something caustic or, that was the only time we painted a concrete tank on the inside, coated it to protect it from rotting it out.
Well, the steel. You're trying to keep
And
the
there's-
caustics
yeah.
from getting to the steel.
To the
inside.
steel. It would rot eventually either way, it'd get in there, and soak into it.
Questions? That's your opinion. These are getting real close. They are too, but these are getting real close. We got to send all this to SRF. You wasn't on board yet.
Well, we can go out here and look at this drive and see what you think. If
It'll
you
work.
think- I mean, don't you
No, I
think?
thought you had to expand it, I thought it was gonna be expanded anyway, just to get all the trucks and everything, traffic through, and
Yeah, and that's been my biggest issue with putting it back here since day one, was that.
We knew we was either gonna have to widen this or take out that bay over there.
I was just assuming we were gonna widen this,
Yeah.
it's,
Well,
even
that
if you
was
take that bay out, having the truck come and go all the way around the building and then come back
Now,
out.
if we could have got this
And
land
pulling
over
around
here,
down there.
this landing that way out that way, we wouldn't have no issues at all, but we didn't,
Yeah,
couldn't work that out.
Well, I think we've got room here to do it, and you're only talking about probably widening the width of this table. I mean, you're not like putting a whole lane
I
in
can't
it.
remember. It's not.
It's like
really
a half
wide.
lane or something.
It's
It's like a
really
lane
wide.
and a half.
I think you're right.
Yeah, there was a car pulled in, I think it was either this morning or yesterday, she stopped right over there, and me and a full-size truck from the water department were able to get past her.
I mean,
Well, that's the only reason I didn't, because I was like, well, y'all are forcing everybody to come
Right.
in and go left. And I'm like, if I widen it, then you're gonna have congestion, but y'all are here all
Well, we
every
still
day.
want them to
So
come
you
in
say-
that way. I still want them to come in that way. They're still gonna come in that way and loop the front of the building or come that way to the.
Well, it should be,
drive-through.
it'll still be painted for them to not come out, but you're
Right,
saying
right.
it don't matter, they're coming out anyway, so.
They're still coming out of it anyway.
Right.
I sit here all the time, see people go out that way.
Well,
Yeah,
they also come in that way too,
Yeah.
instead of going this way.
Yeah, so I think it would be better and more prudent to make it wide enough to be able to do it than them just bucking going against the flow, so to speak.
But yeah, we done a cost estimate on this, golly, 2 years ago.
We looked at it a while before we even
And,
bought it.
and the price that it was gonna take to come from the plant up, it was gonna be about the same to lay it along the road, just because of how much rougher it is to get to the plant. It's more footage this way, of course. You know, it's 4,500 feet, I think. 4,500 feet.
One day, if you're gonna use that same land for the future water plant, you'll need.
And that's why we done this too. I want you to be aware of that. We tried to stay,
Far enough back that you.
well,
gotta put
we
it in.
wanted to be over here, plumb out of everything. That way you get all the rest to do anything with. You know, instead of running this line up through the middle of it or over there where the existing road is, you'd wind
But
up.
there's no way we could get an easement to come back over here and cut this corner off.
If you could get from whoever owns this, yeah, you could cut a whole lot off. Now, the next thing is we're going to stay so far away from those gas lines that we don't get, you know how that is messing with
I
that.
think, I don't think, I mean, I'm
Well,
just
they
saying if
going
we
over
came this way. I'm saying if we just came
Mm-hmm.
this side of their house, their shop building's up here, back of it, and tie in up here somewhere instead of coming back to come over. If we could come, that would cut out
Lots.
at least 300 feet,
Oh,
maybe,
no.
or more.
Yeah, I'd do a lot more. I'll look at it. We just try to stay on land that's already on.
I understand, but I mean, if it's just a matter of getting an easement, and it's just rough land that they're not gonna use or develop, and it's a straighter shot, I mean, I don't mind asking anybody, all they can do is say no.
That's right.
I mean, I mean, you know, okay, we're gonna give you $2,000 to do this. If it saves us $50,000, let's give them $10,000 or whatever.
$70 a foot.
But you see what I'm saying? I mean, let's look at what the shortest distance to get from where that tank needs to be to where you're wanting to tie on, and if it's one or two property owners, as long as it's not going through their yard or through their house.
This is cattle ground
Yeah.
when we was out there. But every time we got out there, gas patrol come over. Every time.
Well,
The airplane. I mean,
You get in
we
there, gas man.
we
there's
couldn't
a
hardly
plane
even
on.
we couldn't hardly even get our machine set up for this.
We was over putting, Bill Scruggs was putting that bridge in when I first came over.
yeah.
We was over there working on it. And
They
there's a
patrol it
storm.
usually daily. I think they fly it daily.
But if they see,
They also
know
got
activities
sensors.
around,
Yeah,
they
they
come.
also got sensors, seismic sensors. I
Seismic.
reckon they know when.
Know when somebody's digging.
Of course, we wasn't digging, but we was walking.
Yeah,
I'm like, I couldn't believe that.
But we can look, you know, we can pull that up and look and see if there's a shorter route. I don't mind trying to ask a property owner, or, you know, like I say, all I can do is say no. And if it's gonna save us, you know, it's saving them tax dollars too. I mean, well, yes and no, but I'm
Yeah,
Second
it's
rate.
SRF. It has to go through the county, right?
so I'm just saying,
It's coming off the rate payers, it's coming
Yeah,
off the rate.
off the rate,
Yeah.
man.
but I don't mind asking. I don't mind asking, is what I'm saying. If it would make the project cost less and more logical to go that way and not affect them in an adverse way, let's ask.
No, I didn't have to ride on these or anything.
If we move them out of here, what are we gonna do with the space over here?
I don't know, I just assume eventually you're gonna, if the county keeps going, you're gonna expand.
Well, I mean, I
That
know we
gives
need
us-
room. I mean,
But
in
that
here.
gives us also, the drive-through just like we had. If we got something that comes up.
I could see
maybe do
putting
that.
Rita over there so she could man and drive.
Rita
with
used
the
it,
first one.
Rita used it more than anybody.
Right.
I can see it been handy for her.
I can see putting.
Now that
her-
office in this one ain't real big. It's like a 12 by 12.
Well, I was talking more the drive-up window area, and maybe his office, that front office, she could use it in the drive-up, even if they kept the back
Huh?
room for now.
You better do it now.
Well, yeah.
Is there any way on this, are we going to be able to add on to this easily, feasibly?
The only way you can add on is,
Front or back?
no, you can't do front or back.
Can't.
Well, you can, it becomes a different building. You can make these ends, you make these main frames, see how this spans the whole thing?
I'm not talking about, yeah,
You can make this whole end, you wind up making these where they can be removed and you just keep going,
but we don't have property over
but
there.
not over there, but you do over here. But,
But see, that was, my point is trying to design where we could add on.
well, if they do, you come in here and you wind up just sharing this, you wind up pouring a bigger footing. What they do is they put your frames back to back there. So you come in here and you put another frame here and you wind up making this. It's not as easy as busting out an end.
Right.
But that's, I mean, you really can't.
Well, with your office being 12 by 12, are you moving everybody over here or just a few people or?
I never thought it that far ahead of it. I just thought a good drive through would have to be something.
He was saying while we was in the middle of it, to go ahead and put that
Over
window
there
in
to
there.
have something over for
Because I think, you know, it was
well, we wouldn't be crowding everybody.
No,
We might never go
office
through
space,
that.
right? This system.
Uh-huh. Now you could do something in the conference room because the conference room is massive. It's 30 by almost 20. So
Could you, is this where you could come out and add on this way if you needed to?
yeah,
Be able to tie a roof in, just like a hip roof off this way, and tie into this other one.
you do. You wind up doing this, and they wind up coming up to your peak and doing something.
So that would be, if you had to come off, you could come off that way pretty easy.
And that's something that can be told. We can put that in the specs that the southwest.
I mean, I like trying to, I mean, when we did the fire hall, we cut the size down, but we did try to design it where we could add on to either end if we needed.
But it's part of these ends, right?
Right, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Exactly.
usually always on. It's
Exactly.
usually the opposite your
Right.
frames.
Right.
Why can't we? Well, you know, we can do something. We can move this upstairs.
You can.
We just use that as office space or whatever.
Well, if you did that, that'd give you two big offices.
Yeah, I mean, that would move you up because the floor's gonna be able to handle stuff.
And I mean, even this conference room, if you had to have somebody with a desk in the corner of it,
Yeah, there'd be space in there.
you see what I'm saying? Kind of like you
Or
got
you can come in here and cut a wall and have them, you know,
Could you put on the, yeah, well,
dividers.
divider wall?
You could.
Just to keep someplace to be private.
Oh, you won't have one of them unless you've done this.
you could make this not as deep across this end, move the equipment room to here, use this as an office.
Yeah, once this thing's built, you can do anything you want to, and
Free,
as far as walls
freestanding
inside.
inside, well, other than that floor system, you're gonna have to.
We might could survive out this door here and widen it here, can
Yes.
just make that a regular door if you wanted to. Or to access out if you needed another.
Well, I think if you need to decide whether you think you're gonna move everything and everybody out of here back there, and you're gonna have some
If y'all.
room space, and I don't know, you may have to make one end of a room fireproof or something with a small fireproof
If
ball.
y'all, if the county needs the space, we could do that.
We need the space, we're gonna need the
This-
space.
This wall here is fire rated,
Has to be.
and
Does it meet that 10,000 square foot stuff? Or is it a certain limit?
he has 6,000 square feet.
6,000.
It don't matter. You still want to separate out
Yes, okay.
Yeah, because it's
garage,
garage.
garage from.
Okay. All
But this one's fire rated and the ceiling's 5/8. So
Well, we could expand that one bay and use that extra room if you needed, if we needed it.
yeah, I mean you could take that out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, come in here and do
Yeah.
something else. But
Yeah.
you could actually wind up putting another hallway in here.
And just make some offices going to that direction, and then keep that back for work area or whatever. Yeah.
Because this is the only one you put in that don't drive all the way through anyways.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying do away with it if we ain't gonna go all the way back. But now that the COVID made us think we ought to prepare for it. If we
I think I wouldn't have this door.
That's what we're saying.
I would get rid of it. You got these three, these are in line all the way through. This is just to drive into here.
Well, the only thing about this one is you could park something here that could be stationary. Like these, to be drive through, you're gonna have to keep them.
I guess in my mind, said having this door would be where you might, if we did our own maintenance on oil change, whatever, we could come in there and do all that.
Okay.
That was
And
my
have it
thought.
more like a shop area than a
Shop
parking
area than a parking area.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm with you.
Now, one of these is gonna be I don't know. I'll have to look back at what you sent, because one of them was like a sewer, wasn't that like where you had your TV truck or?
Well, I can get that little drawing, I might can give it to y'all look at it again.
That's what
I
I was
just
on.
trying to play out stuff.
But he
we had.
laid out like where certain stuff would be on.
But now I've got, we're gonna have a little extra room down there where we built this thing I put some stuff down at some things that relate to wastewater could go down to the place at the wastewater.
I mean, he had a lot of stuff that I ain't showing, like air compressor.
Yeah, I actually
I mean, he actually.
I had a thing in there for a lift to lift your truck up, change your oil. That metal.
I believe that was this one.
Yeah. So we could do, when we ain't busy, we could do our own.
Well, we're just trying to get it built, baseline built. Of course, like
Well,
I
that's the thing, if you build it big enough that you've got options of what you do inside, whether you do that now, a lift, it sits on a concrete floor. I mean, the ones now, you
They're
don't
made
have,
on
they're not
concrete.
made in or anything.
Right, they both.
So, as long as you got the ceiling height for it, that would be the biggest question. You're not talking about sprinkling this?
No. Well, it's not required. I mean, if y'all want it. By code, it's not required.
Garage area, anything over 6,000 in garage space has to be total building 12,000, I think.
10.
At 10,
You might be, no, 10 or 11. I just looked at it the other day.
okay, I was thinking it was 12. Been on use.
Yeah,
classification.
definitely.
And-
Your chemicals and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
if you're storing chemicals. But yeah, it's about 4,000 is what that is.
It would cost about 30,000
That's what I was gonna say. You gonna
to sprinkle it. And of course, we would save a little bit on our insurance if it was, but it's just,
And what did you want to do, or what's the board want to do as far as floor? This is concrete, of course. Or we want the,
It's gonna be concrete.
it's gonna be concrete, but you can put stuff over it, or you can,
Yeah.
or you
some
can have
kind
it
of-
I
epoxied.
would put the stained and sealed, stained and epoxy sealed, or not
Something
epoxy
easy-
paint.
something easy clean.
Well, I
It's
didn't
gonna
know.
look muddy, dirty anyway, just stain it brown and put the polyurethane sealer on it, and they can spruce it up every now and then.
Well, that's what I was wondering, I
wondering.
mean, I figured that's what you wanted, like, do like a stain and seal on that.
I do it all. I do every bit of it, stain and steel on that end.
Yeah, in the office,
Mhm.
and this would just be a regular.
I wouldn't try to do carpet in the office building, rooms or anything. That's easy for them to clean out, mop up.
Or VCT,
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of places do the VCT tile,
no, I think since you got raw concrete to deal with.
but what cheapest is stain it and seal it.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
cheapest thing, stain
Yeah,
and seal.
stain it, seal it
That's
for
fine,
what it's
man.
being used for.
We dirty this one up all the time.
It's most serviceable, easy for them to clean and maintain.
Track mud in here all the time.
Matter of fact, I would say, once the slab's down, stain it, seal it, one coat before they ever come in there and frame those
Oh,
walls.
they do. They usually do it, and then they put plastic down, 10, 15 mil,
Mhm.
walk it to death before it's done, and then they
Yeah.
come in and polish it to make it.
If it's all right with everybody, y'all can look at, get rid of that door, add whatever, one room, and then keep that back spot for your work area or whatever. It doesn't matter to
Add a
me.
little bit more finish space.
Yeah. Or extend those, make it a little bit bigger for more room. We can put this upstairs, and that may give us plenty. We can look at all the square footages and see what we got now.
Well, I would definitely do a hallway.
I got a lot of room, guys, that we really don't use in here.
This is 20 by 30.
Correct.
That's a huge room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we
You're gonna use it for training and everything. too,
training, but we also can host training for, like TAUD come here and train other, bring utilities here and do that hosting and get paid, they come in and do our training here too for us, like they did for y'all. And if we can do a mass enough training, it's cheaper for us to do. About other utilities in it. If we become a host, they could save us money by hosting it, and our fees will be less.
If you could box off this corner for your two room.
Get a pair.
Yeah. Could this flop?
It could now that this door's going away. Before, say I couldn't get in without hitting it.
But if you flop this, make your two room, and this, make it a little bigger.
Gotta push this door somewhere down. Can't get in line with that column. I got that column right there.
Or do you even need that door?
That was to get in here, yeah. From outside.
But you've got this.
If not, you gotta.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, if you had it here, and you just did this two room here, you'd actually have a bigger two room, and still be able to come in beside it. I don't know. There's 1,000 ways.
But if you can come up with how much office space you think you're gonna, how much square footage you think you're gonna need, I'll come up with it.
Like where Mary Dale is, basically we really just occasionally use the other half of that room.
The other back part of that room is just really not used.
It's not.
But you'll have file cabinets and,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
stuff we need to plan for because I'm gonna tell you, that's a bedroom.
Well, let's
right
think
there.
on it.
So, I wanted you to,
Yeah,
that's a
I-
bedroom right
yeah.
there, just think,
That's probably, you could put maybe a desk, you could put a desk over here and a desk right here possibly.
yeah, it's about a 2 desk.
Two desks is about the most you're gonna be able to put in there.
I would
And I'm
think.
gonna say this room is about like this room.
That's about how big that is.
Yeah.
This is two, let's see. This is about 16 by.
I'll go do a little, I mean, how many
24.
square foot we got in here now, and try to get something to compare it to.
Okay. That'll hit me.
But like I say, Mary Dale, she's got the biggest place there. She's about the only one back there half the time. We
Right.
very seldom go to one computer to do some work, but we don't really have to. We can do it anywhere. I mean, nobody uses it anymore. Matter of fact, I was thinking about.
I really think if you're gonna move everything back there, you gotta have more office room than what you're showing.
Yeah.
It's that simple, and I think you're either gonna have to go out into one of those bays.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you for all your hard work. You better
Go.
pay.
You need that. Appreciate it.
I'll get that to, CIP. I'll give you a notice to proceed on it.
What's tomorrow? Wednesday.
Wednesday.